What's up, Banter fam? I hope you're having a good morning. It's been a crazy day on the market so far. I know it's a very volatile times at the moment, but that is exactly why I am here every single day to give you guys the strategies to be able to succeed in this crazy market. In today's video, I'll be showing you my favorite stablecoin staking strategies to be able to profit off stablecoins. We know holding tokens right now is a risky play, so why not be able to farm stablecoins to earn yield to take advantage of some of these dips that we're seeing at the moment. It's going to be a jam-packed show. Let's get straight into it.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch, go. Get up, and then they got go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, get up.
Get up, let's go. Welcome back, Banter fam, to another show where I come with the best DeFi staking strategies for you guys to take advantage of every single day at 1:30 a.m. EST. In today's show, I'll be revealing 5 of my favorite stablecoin farming strategies to be able to accumulate wealth during these volatile times, to be able to take advantage of some of these dips. So super important show today because I'm going to give you guys the tool to be able to earn money on stables. What is better than that? Pretty much risk-free profits in this crypto market. What a crazy day it's been. It's been a very difficult day on the markets. We've had drawdowns of 15-20% on some altcoins. Honestly, one of the worst sentiments I've seen in a long time on the markets. I just want to say that I'm feeling your pain as well. It's been a super tough day, but at the same time, this does scream opportunity. As hard as it is to deal with, there is also, a mass amount of opportunities that are going to start coming our way. Millionaires aren't created in bull markets. Millionaires are actually created during downtrends, during bear markets. So just remember that, if that provides you any solace at the moment, because I know it is a difficult day, but stablecoin farming is where it's at the moment. So I will show you how to take advantage of that to still be able to generate yield in this market without having to hold tokens. But first, we got to look through the market because, it has been a bit of a bloodbath. We had Bitcoin dropping 6.7% today, but some of these alts are down quite significantly. Solana took quite a big hit, as well as Fantom and some of the other major tokens. Obviously, small caps do get hit a lot harder during these drawdowns because their market caps are smaller. So a lot of tokens have taken a hit. Fantom, one of my favorite projects, I think is down 16% today, and it's at $1.50. So we're starting to see some good entries on some of these alts. We can't be too sure what's happening in the macro environment yet until some of this, Russia news kind of dissipates. Obviously, Russia is one of the main reasons why we got this market dip today. Markets are very uncertain around the world with the outlook of the war and what potentially might happen if Russia does invade Ukraine. So that is the reason why we're getting this crash. But, because markets hate uncertainty, and that is something that I just want to make a quick point of. Uncertainty, is the time to be able to profit in this market because uncertainty is often priced in quite heavily into the market. So if the market thinks that Russia is going to invade Ukraine, it'll price in quite heavily the potential of that happening, which means often we do get stronger price reactions before an actual event than after an actual event occurs. So, there is potential that we are seeing an exaggerated reaction here, but there's also potential, that there is further downside. So I just want to kind of preach a bit of patience right now because it is a tough time, but there are still so many opportunities out there. And I know that we're getting some amazing opportunities to accumulate as well. And we can see this isn't a crypto exclusive issue. So I know a lot of people are saying and trying to compare this to the 2017 kind of all-time high and say, oh, we could come down to test those levels. Here's the thing. It's not crypto exclusive. This is happening across all markets in the world, whether that be stocks and property. And we're seeing in the indices right now that the global markets are actually taking a hit. Obviously, we had the S&P 500 futures down 1.5%, NASDAQ down 2%. And we know that these altcoins and Bitcoin pretty much act as an extension of these markets at the moment. So we are seeing more significant drawdowns in crypto than other industries, but that's not to say that this is crypto exclusive. This is purely to do with geopolitical tension and to do with some of the macro uncertainty. So I just wanted to come in and explain kind of some of the reasons why this happened today, because I know a lot of people are freaking out, but this also spells opportunity. And this is something that I said today on my Twitter. Just remember, sentiment can turn positive just as quickly as it turns negative. 1 week ago, the market was euphoric as Bitcoin reclaimed 45K. 7 days later, my feed is already in a state of panic. The sooner you learn to remove emotion from your trades, the better. And this is true because, I mean, last week we were talking about, 45K Bitcoin potentially entering a new cycle. And then now this week, everyone's, kind of capitulating, freaking out on Twitter, about a crash. So just remember, just as quickly as the market can turn negative, we can also turn positive. So, this isn't the time to be panic selling your bags. If you have positions that you're worried about, I would strongly recommend to hold them and just really see out this crash if you do have conviction, and use it as an opportunity to dollar cost average. Can we go lower? Yes, but that does spell opportunity because we can continue to average through the crash. And the stablecoin strategies I'll be showing you today can significantly help you guys do that. At the same time, as I just said, fear creates opportunity. We haven't seen these levels in quite a long time. And these are the days we want to be buying. We don't want to be buying the massive pumps. Last week when Bitcoin was 45K, that wasn't the time to be buying. Now we're seeing some of this red across the market. These are the times to be buying, or at least starting to average in, because this is when we get these massive opportunities to accumulate tokens at lower levels, which is super advantageous if you are a long-term investor. If you're a trader, good luck. Trading this market is very, very difficult at the moment. If you're a long-term investor and you have long-term conviction in these projects, then we are seeing some good levels to accumulate at. But today's video is all about stablecoins because what stablecoins allow us to do is obviously take advantage of buying dips. So I always preach to keep a percentage allocation of your portfolio in stablecoins. I never would suggest someone to walk around with no cash. You always want to have a little bit of cash. So usually I like to keep my cash position between 5 to 20%, depending on how volatile the market is. At the moment, I'm probably sitting closer to 20% in cash relative to my crypto portfolio. But when the kind of market ramps up a bit and I deploy, I'm more comfortable around 5%. So the amount of cash you hold is up to you and your risk tolerance, but we want to always be keeping a percentage of our crypto portfolio in cash. But when I say cash, I think stablecoins are a great proxy to be able to store cash, because what stablecoins allow us to do is actually earn yield on them. And earning yield on stablecoins is extremely powerful because you're essentially accumulating dollars. And what this enables you to do is then when the market dips, like we're seeing at the moment, then you can come and deploy these stablecoins to be able to take advantage. So you have all these stablecoins kind of sitting around. You stake them. Let's say you earn 20% a year on those stablecoins. That's 20% more buying power you have to actually come in and buy dips. So that's why keeping a percentage of your portfolio in cash is valuable, because you're actually able to accrue more stablecoins through farming. And then when the dips come, like they have come over the past week, you can actually have more dry powder to deploy, because I know a lot of people say, I don't have any money left to buy the dip. I bought the dip, it keeps dipping, and that's an extremely frustrating situation to be in. But through stablecoin farming, you can actually kind of prevent this happening because you can accrue more tokens, which gives you excess buying power to really profit when the market rallies. So let's dive straight into my 5 strategies that I'll be sharing with you guys today across multiple ecosystems. So today's stablecoin farming strategies are actually going to be across 3 of my favorite ecosystems: Fantom, Avalanche, and Luna. These 3 ecosystems have extremely cheap gas fees. So unlike Ethereum, you can actually compound stables and not spend too much on gas fees. And these 3 ecosystems also have some amazing projects with some great yield. So what using these ecosystems, Fantom, AVAX, and Luna, will enable you to do is earn yield on your stablecoins without paying the crazy fees that we're seeing, on chains like Ethereum. So that is why I've chosen those 3 chains to farm stablecoins on. And across those 3, I'll be showing you 5 of my favorite plays. So let's get straight into it, because there is a lot to talk about in terms of my stablecoin farming strategies here. The first strategy that I want to show you is actually on Yearn Finance. So Yearn Finance is a protocol on Ethereum, on Fantom, and it is one of Andre's protocols. Andre Cronje, obviously one of the main developers at Fantom, and Yearn Finance has some really good vaults to be able to farm stablecoins. So Yearn is a pretty reputable protocol, and in today's video, I'll only be focusing on protocols that I think are reputable and have good security. Because the thing is, when you're putting cash into a DeFi protocol, you want to be sure that it's fairly safe. Obviously, there are always risks when it comes to DeFi, whether that be smart contract risk, hacks can occur, but protocols like Yearn that have been around for a while and are more established, and we know the team behind them and the team's docs, so they're public, makes me a lot more comfortable. So a protocol like Yearn, it may not be paying the craziest rates on stables, but it's paying some of the most secure rates on stables, and that's really important. So if we go to Yearn Finance and we go into the Fantom chain, once again, we want to be using Fantom instead of Ethereum here because the gas fees are a lot better. We can scroll down and see some of the single-sided vaults. So the benefit to these vaults is that you're not LPing. So for example, if one stablecoin somehow lost its peg, impermanence loss could occur using a farm, but on Yearn, it is a single-sided stake. So you're minimizing risk, of a stablecoin losing peg. So obviously different stablecoins have different algorithms that they use to maintain peg. Some stablecoins I would consider safer than others, but the majority of the stablecoins in this video today, I would consider fairly safe. They're going to be the top 4 stablecoins. So if we look across that would be USDT, USDC, Binance, Terra, so UST, and DAI MIM as well. But MIM has, had some speculation that it could be a little bit dodgy lately. So I'm personally not farming that at the moment, but I am farming most of these top 5 coins here because I believe they are some of the safest coins in crypto. Obviously, DPEG risk is a risk, so you have to be wary of that. But Yearn Finance has some pretty good pools here. So all you have to do is come in, take your stables. I really like the DAI pool here for 6%. I know it's not a lot. I'm starting slow. I'm going to work my way up the risk curve in this video to show you some higher yield stables. But I wanted to start with Yearn because these rates at times can be pretty competitive. You click deposit. You simply deposit your DAI or USDC, whatever stable you would like to deposit, and you can earn your 6% yield here. Pretty low yield, but as I said, pretty safe. MIM, which has slightly higher risk factor to it, is actually paying almost 9%. I think that is a decent play. I have no worries with the MIM stablecoin. I think it's done a pretty good job of holding peg. But as I said, I would consider it slightly riskier than, say, a DAI or a USDC, which has had less price volatility. So this is a good option, and Yearn Finance is one of the best places to farm stablecoins on Fantom if you want a safer option. Sometimes these rates are much, much higher. So it fluctuates depending on the market. If we click on the pool, we can see how Yearn actually routes and what strategies they use. For example, under the DAI pool, we can see how they use it. So they invest it in Scream, and you can see the exact strategies that they implement to generate the yield. So that's a really good feature because you want to know where your money is going. The second strategy, which I actually really like and is paying some nice yields, is on Beethoven. So we know Beethoven is one of the major dexes on Fantom. We know, it's one of my favorite projects on Fantom because it offers some pretty nice yields across all of its pools. Obviously, I really like its token pools, but today's video is on stablecoin. So I'm going to show you the stablecoin pools that I personally like on Beethoven X to be able to generate some yield on your stablecoin. So if you go over to the invest/farm tab on Beethoven and you click stablecoin pools, it's got its own tab, which is super handy. You can see the list of stablecoin pools that they're actually offering. Now, there's one in particular that really stands out to me, and it's this pool. Steady Beets Yearn Boosted. So what Beethoven is actually doing is they are collaborating with Beets to boost their own pools, and they're actually able to offer a 9% APR through doing this. So that's a pretty nice yield on stablecoins, considering it's a fairly safe method. Obviously, impermanent loss could potentially occur, if a stablecoin lost peg, but the risk of, losing peg and impermanent loss occurring is pretty low. So I do like this pool on Beethoven. And also, these are pretty good stables, reputable stables. And that's the thing with stablecoin farming. It's much safer to farm your USDCs, the stables that have been around for a while, than it is to farm some of the more speculative ones down this list. Maybe some of these ones down here that haven't been around for so long. So the top 5, it's hard to go wrong with these stables because they are very, very good and they have had a good history from the research that I have done. So Beethoven is offering a 9.38% APR on this pool. How do you invest? It's super simple. All you need to do is click invest and you will see DAI and USDC come up here. It'll automatically allocate 50-50. So all you need is DAI or USDC. Beethoven will automatically create an LP for you. So you can invest your DAI, invest your USDC in here, and then start earning this 9% reward, which is pretty good, I think, because Beethoven is one of the better places to farm on Fantom. It's one of my favorite aggregators on Fantom as well. So this is a really good option if you want to farm DAI and or USDC. It'll be split 50-50 and you'll earn 9% in Beets. So remember, you're earning the Beets token. Super simple. As soon as you receive your Beets rewards, head over to swap those Beets back for USDC, and then you can recompound back into the pool, so that way you've got no exposure to the Beets token. I'm super bullish on the Beets token, but today's video is all about stablecoins. So if you are purely focused on farming stables, you would compound back into USDC and reinvest into this pool, which is the Steady Beets pool, which I really like on Beethoven X. Next up, we're going over to Avalanche because Fantom isn't the only place to be able to farm stablecoins and get some insane yields. Avalanche actually has some of the best stablecoin pools as well. I'm super bullish on the AVAX ecosystem, and it has some great DeFi protocols, which we should be taking advantage of. Before I get into that, make sure you smash the like button for these stablecoin staking strategies. I want to see those likes smashed because I think this is a really important video and people deserve to see it because stablecoin farming is one of those things that you want to be implementing into your regular strategy. It's all good and well to farm tokens. I have the majority of my wealth farming tokens, for example, Fantom, AVAX, Solana, but I also have a small percentage, as I said, usually 10 to 20% of my crypto portfolio in stablecoins, which I then come and farm because it's also important to generate yield on your stables as well as your tokens, in my opinion, if you're serious about maximizing profits in DeFi. Over to Avalanche now for some of my favorite Avalanche stablecoin staking strategies. And the first one I want to talk about is Platypus Finance. Now, Platypus actually has a pretty unique mechanism here. It uses the VE token, so the vote escrow mechanic, similar to what we saw on Curve Finance, to be able to offer boosted pools based on what percentage of governance you own over the Platypus protocol. Might sound complicated, but I'll break it down and I'll show you an easy calculator to be able to work out how you can boost your rewards. So if we come onto Platypus on Avalanche and we look over in the pool section here, we can see it's offering 4 stablecoins right now: USDT, USDC, DAI, and USDC. You can deposit any of these stablecoins and earn a pretty good yield. So if you deposit just the base stablecoin and you don't own any Platypus tokens, you can receive 6%, 6.9% in the case of DAI. That's decent. I mean, that's already pretty much better than the Yearn vault, and you don't need exposure to the Platypus token to do that. However, if you really want to level up your yield on Platypus and you want to take advantage of the insane APRs that you can generate, you want to own some of the Platypus token. Now, this would be a long-term play because obviously holding the token, you could be exposed to short-term swings in volatility with the market swings. However, it does enable you to earn some insane yields. So the median boosted APR across most of these pools, so that's taking the middle boost, so the average boost that most people will receive, depending on your allocation of Platypus tokens, is 25% on USDT. So 25% for a USDT single stake is pretty good. Once again, there's no pools here. It's a single stake, which is very attractive, and it also, allows you to boost your APR depending on how many Platypus tokens you own. So I'll just go through an example of this to show you exactly how to do this. So as I said, you can just put in the base and get the base APR, but if you hold these Platypus tokens, even a small amount of Platypus tokens can go a long way to boosting your APRs, potentially up to, 50 to 100% APR here. But it does increase the risk. But I still want to show it because I think it's valuable for the people that are willing to take the extra risk to significantly boost your stable coin rewards. So if we look at the booster calculator here, for example, you want to deposit USDC. Let's say you have 1,000 USDC tokens and you own 1,000 Platypus tokens as well. You're actually getting a 30% APR. So 1,000 Platypus Finance tokens right now would equal around $3,900. So if you put in $3,900 theoretically in Platypus tokens, you can actually boost the USDC rewards from, I think it was 6% all the way up to 30%. So have a play around with this calculator. Depending on your position size will kind of dictate how many Platypus tokens it's worth holding. So if you only have a few hundred in stables, it may not be worth investing too much in the Platypus token because you're not getting great bang for your buck. Whereas if you have a little bit more capital to play with, buying a few Platypus tokens can go a long way to boosting these rewards. If you have, let's say, I don't know, 2,000, which would be around $7,000 worth of Platypus tokens, you're actually getting 42.2%. So the way I would think of Platypus is you are pretty much sacrificing in the short term, holding these tokens for a long-term gain of an increased APR in stables. So if you want to farm stables for the next year or two, then it ends up being worth it because you're only paying, let's say, a couple $1,000s to hold some Platypus tokens, but then you are significantly gaining in terms of the APR boost that you're getting. So I think it can be worth it, but have a play around with the calculator because your situation will depend on how many USDC tokens you have, for example, and also how much you're willing to invest in the Platypus token itself. Platypus Finance has had, a bit of a cool off from its highs of 1091, but it's actually seen some steady growth, and it's one of the protocols I'm most bullish on in the AVAX ecosystem because I think, Platypus is doing something really unique. It's not every day we see this kind of curve mechanic implemented with single-sided staking pools. Like, it's super unique in my opinion, and obviously how much you want to boost these pools is up to you, depending on how much you want to invest. So it's highly customizable to your situation, but anywhere from 6% to potentially like 100% APR on Platypus is possible, depending on how many tokens you lock up. To lock them up, you need to click stake. You put in the amount of tokens you want to lock up and click approve and then click stake. So it's pretty simple to do, and the rewards are pretty good. But let's go into something that doesn't involve locking, because I know not everyone will want to lock tokens like Platypus. Some people will just want exposure to stablecoins. So if Platypus isn't for you, then there is another option on the AVAX ecosystem that I think is really advantageous, and that is actually Yield Yak. So Yield Yak is an auto compounder on Avalanche. So it takes the best rates across the Avalanche ecosystem from like Pangolin, from Trader Joe, and it aggregates them in these really nice, easy to use pools, which enable you to earn yield on single-sided staking. So they have multiple tokens in their farms, but they also provide some stablecoin farms, which are really good. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this on Yield Yak. So if you go over to farms, you can see that there are different ways to earn profits on stablecoins here. So if you click farms and then go down to farm types and click stablecoins using this toggle here, you can see stablecoin only farms. So this will filter out all the other farms and give you a list of stablecoin farms that you can use to earn yield. And we can see that some of the APYs are actually very, very good. Very, very good and very competitive. For example, and this is probably my favorite pool here, this USDC on Pangolin is paying 17.4%. So if you pair your USDT with your USDC, then you can actually earn 17.4% APY, which is pretty insane. That a pool can pay, this much APY for stablecoins. So this is a good option in the AVAX ecosystem to be able to farm and be able to generate profits. Now, how you actually create this LP is on Pangolin. Obviously, it's using Pangolin. So Yield Yak is routing through Pangolin. So that's where you need to create your LP. So if you go onto the Pangolin site and you click pool, you can pool your liquidity together. So let's say you want to put USDT and USDC together to enter this pool in particular. You would go onto Pangolin, you would click create pair, you would put UST and you would put USDC together, and you would pair them up to create an LP. And once you create LP tokens, then you can take these over from Pangolin back into Yield Yak and deposit the tokens in here for 17.4% APY. This is a very good deal in my opinion because USDT is one of my favorite stablecoins. It's been very solid. USDC is also one of my favorite stables. So pair them together and it's an easy way to earn 17.4% on your stables. Obviously, the APYs fluctuate. So just like with tokens in DeFi, you're going to see fluctuations in APYs, across different protocols over a period of time. So it might not always be 17%. Sometimes it might be a lot more. And over time, it usually declines as more TVL is deployed, but I will always keep you guys updated with the best options, and Yield Yak has quite a few. So come onto Yield Yak on Avalanche. You can do all of these strategies through your Metamask, by the way. So the Fantom strategies I've showed you, the AVAX strategies I've showed you, all you need is a MetaMask and access to these networks, and you'll also need just a tiny bit of AVAX and Fantom, literally like $10 worth to be able to pay gas fees, because obviously there's a tiny gas fees, like a few cents per transaction, but you want a little bit of AVAX and Fantom in your wallet to be able to get started with these strategies. So yeah, obviously you'll need the stablecoins on the AVAX network to use Yield Yak, because we are dealing with Avalanche here, so you need USDT.E, which is automatically converted for you when you bridge your USDT over to Avalanche. Now, Anchor Protocol is the last strategy in this video that I want to run through, because it would be remiss of me to leave out pretty much one of the biggest and one of my favorite stablecoin strategies across all of crypto. Anchor Protocol allows you to earn up to 20%, 19.55% APY on UST. We all know that Anchor Protocol is a great way to earn yield, and it's still to this day probably the best or one of the best places to earn yield on your stablecoins. So obviously in recent history, we have seen some FUD to do with Anchor. Obviously, this kind of yield reserve had dropped to a point where there was basically no money in the yield reserve. But we did see Do Kwon kind of come back in and say, look, we got to step in here. We got to deposit some funds into Anchor. And we saw him deposit 450 million UST back into Anchor Protocol to keep it sustainable. So by taking advantage of this recent top up, you can come in and stake your USDT to earn 19.55%. The long-term sustainability of Anchor has been questioned. Obviously, they do need to implement a few features to be able to make this more sustainable long-term. We can see that the borrows are significantly underweight compared to the deposits, which means that over time, this yield reserve will drain unless the amount of people borrowing UST can become more in line with the amount of people depositing UST to receive the yield, because they can't just pay out 20% forever. There has to be features implemented to make it more sustainable. I have gotten a lot of questions about this, so there's a couple things that they can introduce. Obviously, we saw the LTV on borrowing now increase slightly, so you can borrow up to, I think it's like 100% or 75%. It was like 60% before, so they increased that, which is one way to attract people to borrow. What they're also doing is they're working on adding more assets. So we can see that bonded ETH and bonded Luna are the only assets you can use to provide collateral to borrow UST. In the future, what they're going to do is they're actually going to change this so there'll be more assets that you can put up as collateral. So those are just some of the things that they're implementing to make Anchor more sustainable. But as stablecoin farmers, it is still one of the best places to farm stables. As long as this keeps ticking along, we can earn 20% on stables. So obviously you need a Terra Station wallet to do this. You can download a Terra Station wallet on the App Store, and it's also a Google Chrome extension. So make sure you download the right one. It's called Terra Station, and this wallet will enable you to put in your UST. You can buy it from a centralized exchange, or you can swap it using one of the Luna DeFi protocols like TerraSwap on your Terra Station wallet. Once you have UST, then you can come in, you can click deposit, select the amount of UST you want. So let's say 14 UST, and then you can click proceed here. Very, very small gas fee. I think it's 0.25 UST, so 25 cents for a deposit fee. And then what you can do is earn 19.55% APY on your UST. So most of you guys will know about Anchor, but I just wanted to go over it one more time in this video because it remains today one of the best stablecoin farming strategies, and I think it's certainly one to mention and not to miss out on, because with stablecoins, we want to be diversifying. So the thing with stablecoin farming is we don't just want to put all of our stablecoins in one protocol, and that's why I gave you 5 options today, because we want to be spreading it across different protocols. Obviously, there is smart contract risk. Obviously, there is a small chance, a stablecoin could depeg from the US dollar. So to mitigate this risk, I like to keep 4 or 5 different stablecoins, so USDT, USDC, UST, DAI MIM, for example, and I like to spread them out across different DeFi protocols. So I have a little bit in Yearn, I have some spread out across, say, Beethoven, maybe a little bit in 100 Finance, which I talked about, I think last week. I have a bit in Platypus, for example, and you want to be spreading it across multiple protocols, so you're able to kind of minimize the risk here, because you don't want to have all your funds in Anchor, obviously, because if something happened to Anchor or UST, then you'd be pretty exposed. exposed. So you want to spread out and diversify across a few different stablecoin farms to be able to minimize risk. So that is why I gave you guys a few options in today's video, because I believe that it's super valuable to be able to spread it across different protocols to receive yield across multiple ecosystems. It's a tough market right now. I feel you guys' pain. I know it's very difficult dealing with the mass volatility and the macro uncertainty at the moment, but that is why we are here every day to help you guys through this. I have no doubt that in 4 or 5 years, or probably even a lot less than that, like in a year's time, the crypto market will be significantly higher than it is today. But we do have to weather the storm first. So if you have long-term conviction like I do, you should be not enjoying, but you should be taking advantage of these levels, because we are getting some great looks to accumulate, and stablecoin farming is one of the ways that we can get some more buying power, because we don't have unlimited cash. We don't have a waterfall of cash at all times. We do need to continue to both take profits and farm stablecoins to be able to give ourselves some buying power to buy these dips. That is why keeping stablecoins on the side is so important, and it is extremely important at the moment with what is happening in the markets. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe for more awesome crypto content. I stream live every single day at 1:30 a.m. EST to give you guys my favorite DeFi and yield farming strategies to help you profit in this market. I hope you have a lovely day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.